Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Life Uncorked. Thanks for watching. I'm Mel Greenberg, and I'm glad you're here. So, this month, I was doing research for our topic, and the same name kept popping up. It was in quotes, it was on websites, it was in Google, you name it. I had to know more. So, I went down that rabbit hole, of course, and I discovered this really cool chick. She's a Tedx speaker and a life letters coach with clients like New York Life Insurance, the University of Denver, American Academy of Psychotherapists, to name just a few. She's an author with a Master of Fine Arts in Creative Nonfiction from Goucher College and a speaker, and she does know a thing or two about ethical wills. And best of all, she's here with us today. Nancy Sharp, hi, how are you? Welcome to Life Uncorked.
Thank you so much, Mel. I'm so happy to be with you today and all of your listeners and viewers.
I'm so glad you're here. And so I do want to get into the ethical will issue. And I have a feeling it has a lot to do with your story and how you ended up where you are today, doing what you do today, which is remarkable. So share a little bit of Nancy with us.
Thank you so much. I feel as though life led me exactly to what I'm doing today. And I'm really meant to be doing this work today, which is working with individuals and groups to help them craft meaningful, enduring life letters. I'll go on to talk a little bit about the nuance of the name in a little bit, because you're correct. The traditional historic term is ethical will. But when I began to first teach people and groups, do a lot of retreats and whatnot, how to do this, I found, maybe not surprisingly, that there was a lot of aversion to the word will. So I renamed it, and I call it the life letter, because truly it's meant to be something that should affirm living today, as well as being a document that can connect the generations over time. So you asked about my story. I was widowed very young, actually, when our twins, we have a daughter and a son, Rebecca and Casey. They were 2.5 years old when their dad, my first husband, died of a brain tumor. Those words would have been the most enduring gift imaginable. Because as it happens, my children, as I said, they're seniors in college right now. They have zero memories of him.
Well, I have that experience. I shared with you earlier, I lost my mother when I was 17, and she left me handwritten notes. I still pull them out and read them, and her handwriting I love.
Exactly. So that sort of is the earlier impetus. And then I went on and I wrote my book. My debut memoir is called Both Sides Now, a true story of love, loss, and bold living. And I just started speaking to different groups about storytelling and resilience and legacy. Then I became a certified instructor in guided autobiography, which I really, really started to teach in earnest at the onset of the pandemic, because nobody was going to big events speaking anymore. I mean, the world
Right.
basically shut down. So I wanted to find a way to make meaningful connections with people, no matter where in the world you're from, no matter what age you are, no matter what your walk of life or life experiences is. Everybody can speak on some level
Mhm.
about universal themes, like, tell me about a branching point moment in your life, a moment when your life took a turn. Now, in the few minutes we've been talking, you just shared with me your mom died when you were 17 years old. That's a turning point moment. It doesn't have to be something negative or traumatic. It can be something small too that has impact. But
Well, I love that you took a pivotal moment in your life and turned it into something not only that helped you through it, so it was quite cathartic, but now you're helping hundreds, thousands, I imagine, get through pivotal times, some better than others, in their own lives.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. And that's exactly why I do this. So it was through that work teaching guided autobiography that many students started to say, hey, would you teach us how to write about an ethical will? And I realized I could teach it in a way that would be very universal and that would be very impactful.
It
Thank
is
you.
life altering this work because we don't think of those things. We think of leaving the will, leaving, who gets this, who gets that.
Right.
And instead of who gets who we are and passing that on. And that's immeasurable.
It is the most enduring gift of all. There's no question about it. The life letter can complement a legal will. And I try to take the pressure off and to make it not so intimidating by suggesting just write a simple letter, number one. And I have some nuggets that people can use as a framework, more or less. I mean, everyone is unique and different.
But there's no right or wrong. It's from your heart. It's who you are.
Right. There are a couple of no-nos, I will
Oh,
say.
tell us.
Right. Okay. So the only things you should really avoid doing when writing a life letter or
Mhm.
an ethical will is it's not meant to be 300 pages of your family history. And the
Mhm.
work I do that is so impactful is to help people in groups write life letters, which is a much more distilled reflection of what matters most. It can be written by hand also, if I love my grandmother's handwritten notes, right? But sometimes people don't have good handwriting. I'm one of those people. So I'll type. Other times I have a lot of people I work with, they don't want to do it at all. They write it on a legal yellow pad, or they speak it into a phone. It doesn't matter. What
Do
matters
people leave
is write it.
recordings? You said speak into a phone. Do people leave actual
Yeah,
recordings?
I always like to record them reading their life letter at the end. So I just want to catch people in their most authentic moments, reading from their heart. And I feel that's incredible to have.
What
Yeah.
keeps you going now? We're all aging. You've amassed this incredible career and you're touching all these lives. What keeps you going forward?
I do feel like I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing. And just to help people and to meet them where they're at, wherever they're at in their lives and their life's journey, feels deeply purposeful.
How do you want to be remembered?
Mm. Well, three words. She was kind. For me, in my life experience, kindness is the value that sails above all the others because it continues to bring me so many extraordinary gifts. I mean, so many of them that are unexpected. What's important is to maybe ask yourself if you not even how you want to be remembered, but what are two things you stand for? What are two things that are really important to you? Two values. And then I wonder if you can think of a story to wrap those values around. I believe in kindness. Challenge yourself to share a story about kindness. It certainly is a time to talk about what have you learned?
Well, it's
Because
almost like, we always, and especially in movies, those deathbed confessions. And when families come together, the father that was never there
right
tells the kids how much he loved them and everything through his life on his deathbed. Instead, you're providing an opportunity for us all to learn how to take these little simple steps.
now.
Do it now.
Well,
Which one meaning?
because we should not be going through our days, right?
Mhm.
Just putting off saying what matters most to the people we care most about because, and not to be morbid here, but life can happen. I mean, my
Okay.
story is proof of that.
Yeah.
That's a good thing because that's just part of the cycle of life. But don't wait. I mean,
It is, and
don't
it's cliche to say
procrastinate.
that in a blink
Right.
of an
Don't
eye, but it is
procrastinate.
true.
It is true,
Yeah.
right?
My grandma used to say that when I would say, "How are you?" And she passed peacefully at 95, and she would say, "Oh, it's
I
another day
love it.
pushing up daisies. It's a good one." And I love that. That's how she looked at life, and it's a
Right.
beautiful vantage point.
That's amazing. My
Mhm.
grandmother died at 96, and she used to say, at my age, you don't buy green bananas. Right.
I love that. Okay, I'm going to remember that. That's great.
Right. But, we could buy a lot of green bananas. She had a good attitude.
Yeah.
So, right.
Nancy, what's next for you?
Well, gosh, I'm looking forward. I'm leading a retreat, another retreat at the Biltmore Estate in Asheville, North Carolina in April. And I want to spread the word here because I hope that everybody is invited.
Is that information on your website?
Yes, we'll have a link to it there.
And that website again is?
Writeyourlifeletter.com, or they can reach me at nsharp@nancysharp.net. And I do a lot of custom retreats too. So sometimes people will say, gee, I have a book group or I have a women's group, or, I have families who've done this too. I just was leading a retreat in Santa Fe. I had two sisters and I had a mother and a daughter. Um, it also can be something for boards of directors, right? Or legacy donors. So I have a book in me too. I haven't really had a lot of bandwidth to write it, but I feel like I'm mining the earth and I'm mining the information and I go forward. And what's next for me is just to continue to serve in this way.
I love it. And you're doing an incredible job and an
Thank you.
incredible service because as we've talked about in this short time, we wait. And for what? Let's do it now. Let's leave our part of ourselves that we cherish, that we want to share
Right.
with each other now. And you're helping us do it. And I'm
Right.
so glad to have met you and that you took your
Thank
time
you.
to talk with our community today. Thank you
Oh,
so much for
thank
joining.
you. And I just wanted to share just one quick thing because I work with a lot of people who don't have children also, and that's okay. Because we all have communities on some level. And so I wouldn't want anybody to feel discouraged if they didn't necessarily have children.
I would imagine milestones can be lonely times for those. And so it's wonderful to include that. Thank you for pointing that out.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, thank you so much. Just wish everybody well and reflective, meaningful time working on their life letters.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Take care, everybody out there. Ciao.
Thanks.